right, Tom. Our next question came from YouTube, a comment on YouTube. I'd like to know if the greater consciousness has a great sense of humor, since we as individual consciousness units have senses of humor. Some religions or individuals shun humor, trying to be pious, but I think humor is a very important part of today's consciousness, and I'd like you to do a short video on that someday. Isn't humor a part of our being, our consciousness makeup? Can't levity help heal and lower entropy through laughter?
Absolutely. The larger consciousness system has a grand sense of humor.
Okay.
Indeed. It also has fun. Fun is another thing that is important in life. You need a sense of humor. You should laugh. You should smile. You should be happy. You should have fun. These are fundamental aspects of a healthy consciousness. When you develop your consciousness to be a low entropy, high quality consciousness, you will spend the major part of your life having fun and laughing and enjoying just everything. And the fact that the world outside is a hurricane of dysfunction doesn't affect you. It's just the way it is. And you can accept that and deal with it and try to help it. You can try to teach. You can do all sorts of things. But whatever you do them with love and with peace and with humor and with laughter and with happiness. So fun is important. Humor is important. You know, humor and fun kind of go together. Not sick humor, not black humor, but positive, just fun humor. Things that are fun, things that are playful. The larger conscious system is playful, as well as having fun, as well as humor. Playful is a part of life. And the more evolved you are with your consciousness, the more fun, the more playful you become. So it's just yes, and yes to your answer. That's very important. And when you try to push that away, oh, let's be serious now. You know, life is serious. We need to be very serious. And if you have fun or if you laugh or smile, that's inappropriate. You know, and if you're not angry, then there's something wrong with you, because this is something that ought to make everybody angry. You know, you have these people who are very, very serious about everything. Well, these are people who are basically unhappy. They have a lot of fear. They have a lot of beliefs. They have a lot of ego. And that is stultifying their fun. It's getting in the way of their enjoying life, of enjoying other people, of enjoying circumstances. Life is full of funny things. Life is there's just a lot of humor lying everywhere. So it's not like you have to go out of your way to find something fun or humor. You just create your own. Do things that please you, that you feel fun doing. And if the rest of society looks at you and says, oh, what's wrong with that person? They sure are acting silly. They're acting like children. Well, you just ignore that, because those people just haven't figured it out yet. But they will one day. So you need to keep that in mind. Now, you have to be careful if you poke your finger into the eye of your culture, because your culture sometimes demands seriousness. And if you don't show the appropriate seriousness, it could be a problem for you. So don't overdo it to the point you create problems for yourself. What was that? The Trial, right? Kafka wrote a book called The Trial, a very famous book. And it was about somebody who didn't meet society's requirements for their deportment and how they should act. And it got him in all sorts of trouble. So you have to be aware that if you got stodgy, people that are around you, well, you need to maybe keep some of that humor, undercover. But when you're in a place where you find other people who are also interested in having a good time and laughing, sure, do that. Growth, becoming love, also means playing, being happy, being joyful in life. I mean, can you imagine going through life with little joy in it? All it is to hop on your treadmill in the morning and then run all day and then hop off at night so you can go back and watch TV and then go to sleep and get up and hop on your treadmill again. You know, where's the joy in that? You have to find joy in everything that you do. If you can't find the joy, then what you do becomes monotonous and you begin to resent it, and you begin to have less and less happiness and less fun in your life. So if you feel yourself going down that track and you're too serious and you're not joyful and you're not having fun, well, there's something wrong. Look around and see. And if it's because you're so worried about looking inappropriate to more stolid, stodgy people who are not having fun, well, don't worry too much about it unless it actually will cause a problem for you. Yes, the answer
No.
to his question is
Okay.
all of those things are very important parts of being.
You've mentioned previously, we've spoken about this before, but it's nice to hear it again and reiterate it. You've spoken before about your closer relationship with the larger consciousness system. Can you give an example of the sense of humor
Oh,
that it has?
sure. Let me give you one example that was from a non physical friend of mine. It was a friend that from that day on, I'll tell you the event. And then from that day on, I called this being Thor. And that was just kind of an inside joke between he and I. And that was early in my days going out to the lab with Bob Monroe. And I was just learning about non physical beings and other sorts of things. And this being one that I had known really for a long time, but he presented himself in a different way this time. And it was just to see if he could intimidate or frighten me or whether I had outgrown those kinds of fears. So it's like a fear test. So I'm sitting there, I'm actually lying in a bed and I'm in a meditation state. I'm kind of out of body doing things. And suddenly this, you know how lightning is when it's real close? You get this loud crack and a flash of light that happen almost at the same time because it's so close that the speed of sound gets it to your ears almost the same time you see the flash. And then a thunderous roll, peal of thunder enough to shake everything, So it was this flash and this shake. And suddenly this big, deep voice says, I am Thor. And I don't know what the rest of it, I don't remember, sort of like God of War or something, I'm Thor, and it had a real menacing sound to it, And I just broke up laughing. I thought that was drama way over the top, and it just made me laugh. And first, when I started laughing, I didn't hear anything. And then I heard chuckling, and then Thor started laughing with me. And it was belly laughs for both of us. But he just wanted to see if he could frighten me. And it was a test, a fear test. So he was going to come on as this big, awful, menacing being with startling flashes of light and loud peals of thunder. And I thought it was over the top, almost like slapstick comedy. It was so over the top. So that was one where the system just had a really good sense of humor. When I started laughing, it started laughing. And from then on,
That's a great
I
story.
called that entity Thor, which is not what I had called him previously.
So if you call Thor, then you hear a lightning bolt, right?
Yes. So
That's a great
that's what I've
story.
called him. So yeah, that was the time of just a sense of humor. Well, it started out just as a fear test,
Mm,
but the fear test, I passed the fear test very well because I was past the point of being frightened of things in the non-physical,
yeah.
and I guess that was just a test to see if I jump and cower or
Well,
how
that's
I
a good
respond to
lesson.
that.
That's a good lesson for
Yeah,
people exploring consciousness that don't take everything seriously. There's nothing really that can hurt you out there, and it's just a test to see if you're ready to explore further,
yeah,
I guess. That's
yeah. Well, the only
wonderful.
things out there that can hurt you are things that frighten you, and the
Yeah,
fear. If they cause you to have more fear, then that hurts you.
yeah,
So that's the only way you can get hurt out there is if you're fearful, which is why often there's fear tests, because if you have a lot of fear, then you shouldn't go there
yeah.
because just the fear tests themselves might make you more fearful than you were before you started. So it's anyway, that
Well,
was a
thank you
good
for that.
example of the system with a good sense of humor.
That's really nice. Thanks, Tom, and thanks, Thor, for for that wonderful story. Thank you. You have more power than you think. Hi, this is Donna from MBT Events. I have had the privilege to work with Tom Campbell for nearly 20 years now, and I can tell you from the feedback received through all those years that he has improved and changed thousands of lives with his My Big Toe theory. As a physicist and explorer of the larger reality, Tom has developed a program where you can learn to access and develop your natural ability as consciousness. His expertly crafted binaural beats are included. Details are in the description below. Thank you.
I and MBT Events hope you like this video. If you do, then you should consider being a Patreon member, because Patreon members get early access to our special content. You will also be able to get your questions answered by me in special Q&A sessions, and most importantly, your contribution as a patron member will enable us to produce the content that you're looking for. So thank you.